Happy June, everyone. Welcome to the Energy Update with Jeremy and Tina. Jeremy, my friend, how are you?
I'm here. How are you?
I am so glad you're here.
I am too.
I'm so
It's good to
glad
be
you're
here.
here. We have a lot to talk about.
We do.
Oh, this new month, this new energy coming in on June, is it June 5th or 6th? I can't
I
remember.
have completely forgotten, but I think it's
Something
yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
I've got it right here in front of me, actually. June 5th, the month
Yeah.
of the Yang water horse.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think we really need the water.
I think we do need the water.
Yeah. So
It's
why
good.
do you think it's going to be interesting?
Well, the horse, the natural element of the horse is fire. And horses love freedom. In fact, that's all they crave, right? And to enjoy their freedom, they need that spark of inspiration or that spark of fire to get them to move forward. But young water is like putting that horse in the middle of the ocean. So it's like the water's definitely going to be the thing that is the dominant energy for the
Hmm.
horse this month. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily going to have all of the freedom that it usually enjoys with that unbridled energy. It's going to be more like a horse that has a bit in his mouth and
Mm.
is being guided and directed because water is ultimately the element that controls fire, right? It
Yeah.
can put fire out. Sometimes you need, like you just said, we need water to kind of dull the fires that are going on in the world. So
Hmm.
this is definitely going to feel a little bit more controlled for the horse than
Yeah.
normal.
I absolutely can see that. And I'm coming from a vantage point. My father and my daughter were both born during the year of the Yang water horse. So
Mm,
I kind of am able
wow.
to see how this plays out in their life path because that's what that
Hmm.
animal represents.
Yeah.
And it just speaks of unpredictability. We know
Oh,
that the
yeah.
ocean, Yang water, is unpredictable. We know that horses are unpredictable. And so we're combining not only these really extreme, unpredictable energies, but they're also conflicting energies. Like you said, it's water and fire. You can't have more clashing elements than that.
Yeah.
And what I've witnessed with this yang water, and kind of on the heels of what you're saying, the horse, like the gate opens, the horse has a direction they're going. They might
Yeah.
reroute, they might stop and look around and go, oh no, I'm going to go that way instead. But they do it with confidence, they do it with speed, they do it with ambition. I'm going for it. But the water, the horse could be going off on a path, and then here comes this big wave and just kind of washes everything out or slows everything down or just interrupts
Mhm.
the natural state of the horse energy of, like you said, this free spiritedness and like, don't fence me in, let me go, let
Right.
me be who I want to be, which I would imagine is going to be really frustrating because I have a horse in my chart too, for horse people who
Mhm.
feel like, okay, this is it, this is the month we can like really get some things done.
Yeah.
And is this yang water, the unpredictability, the uncertainty of it, the overwhelmment of it, how are we going to navigate that? Not just as horse
Right.
people, but just in the world where we might see these sparks of things might being happen. And then this, water's emotion.
Wave. Yeah. Wave of emotion.
Yeah, coming
Yeah.
over. So it'll be a challenging one to navigate, I think. Of
Yeah.
course, there will
I
be
agree.
some who have better charts that will navigate this energy a lot
Mhm.
easier than others. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I come back to what you said before. We need the water right now because
Hmm.
the world is inflamed
Yeah.
and we are so divided right now. And I think that water will definitely cool things down. However, it's very unpredictable.
Hmm.
Unpredictable is a good word for this month because we
Yeah.
don't don't know what's going to happen. And there's so many astrological things going on this month. The combination of the horse and the water
Hmm.
is definitely, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen this month. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, we know that fire the emotion of fire is anxiety,
Hmm.
and the emotion of water is fear. Those are
Yeah,
some
combine
hefty,
those.
that's some big energy to navigate.
Hmm.
So when we're catching ourselves in those states, especially if you've already had your chart pulled, look at your chart. Is it high in fire already? Not only is the
Yes.
horse bringing in more fire, but we're in the northern hemisphere, we're in summer. Things are
Hmm.
heating up just outside.
Yeah.
We're also, remember, we're in this period nine energy, which is all fire, all
Hmm.
transformation, all destruction for 20 years. So, oh man, it's just, there could be a lot of back and forth.
Hmm.
That to me is kind of how that clash energy, kind of a tug of war or power plays, power struggles with people. But if you catch yourself like feeling overly fearful or overly emotional, it could be that water's amplifying your chart. Or if you're overly anxious, maybe your chart is being triggered by this fire energy.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace. Find somebody to talk to and to connect with, and do
Hmm.
the opposite. Maybe we're here to kind of learn how to work with the water and fire energy as
Yeah.
alchemy. If you're feeling isolated, which water really really makes one feel isolated and
Oh,
depressed
yeah.
and emotional, go sit in the sun. Find the fire
Hmm.
energy, light a candle,
Yeah.
write things down and burn it. Find somebody who's silly and playful. Go to a playground and hang out. Not in a creepy way with kids. And if you're too anxious, go take a cool bath, go
Yeah.
sit in the shade, drink some cold water. Use the fire water to kind of balance
I
this
love
month.
that. I love that. The other thing that comes to mind as you're saying that is Martha Beck. She's one of my favorite people in the. Do you know Martha Beck?
Hmm.
Love her. She says that wherever creativity exists, anxiety cannot, because anxiety hits the left brain and creativity takes over the right brain.
Mm,
So anytime you're doing something creative, you're engaging the part of your brain that does not understand or feel anxiety. So maybe we can get a little bit of that wood energy coming in this month, which is kind of it bridges the gap between
yeah,
water and fire,
perfect.
allowing some of that creativity to come through will really, really kind of balance those elements a little bit. I just before we got on the call, I spend my life in bed these days because of health issues. And I've had to kind of really, really look for some things that I can do that are creative that gets me out of the anxiety.
Mm,
And anytime I'm engaging my mind in something creative, it always lightens me up and it always takes me away from the thing that I'm fearful of or feeling
yeah.
anxious about.
Oh, what a beautiful tip. That's something we can all do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because when
Oh,
you're doing something creative, you're not thinking about what's going on in the world.
hmm.
You're thinking about, okay, what's right in front of me right now? I'm in the present moment creating something. And wood
Hmm.
is the energy of growth, right? It's going to
Yeah.
soak up that water of emotion and it's going to make it grow and then it's going to feed the fire as well.
Yeah. Because when you get in that creative state, you just get in the zone, right? It could be baking or cooking or, I mean, even, rearranging the furniture, working in the garden. That's creative
Mhm.
energy. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like you're a great painter.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great tip. That's just a great tip. I kind of wish I knew right now, like an affirmation for wood energy to kind of, I like the idea of bridging those two extreme energies. Maybe something will come
Yeah.
around creativity. So, is there any animals that you want to talk about that may not, that, need to kind of be careful or be on their best
Yeah.
behavior?
Well, I the opposite animal of the horse, the rat.
Yeah.
Rats need to kind of lay low this month because rats are what we call a clash in Chinese astrology with the horse. It's opposite on the wheel, astrological wheel. So, um, when we're talking about that unpredictability, rats don't like that because
Yeah.
rats always rely on the cover of night because they don't necessarily have many defense mechanisms. So hiding and being stealthy is their strongest superpower, right?
Mm-hmm.
With all of this unpredictability, it's almost like the young water is kind of making it's almost like it's chasing the rat, even though the
Mm.
rat is a natural water animal, right?
Yeah, I see
Water,
that.
water is the natural element. So
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like all of the little holes and nooks and crannies that the rats are trying to hide in are getting watered out. So it's bringing the rat out of its comfort zone this month. So lay low as much as
Mm-hmm.
you can, rats, but also this is going to be a really good exercise in dealing with unpredictability. Since the month and the horse are so unpredictable and the ocean is unpredictable, rats, you get to develop a strategy. But the key here, rat, is you need to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that rats have a really difficult time with sometimes, even though water is their natural element. They get something in their minds and they want it to go a specific
Yeah,
way and they want it to go that way. The water is always moving and changing, so allow yourself to go with the flow of that.
that's great advice. That's great advice. I think the horse, if you have a horse in your chart too,
Mhm.
when two horses show up, it's a restless energy. It's a
Yeah,
very impatient. It's overly, and even you wouldn't think of this so much about horses, but horses are very sensitive to criticism. I speak from experience. And so when a couple horses show up, like the one in the month and the one in your chart, pay attention to that, where
hmm,
where that energy's coming from, how you're discerning it, and how you're taking in that. Because it may not be a criticism that has anything to do with you. It might be a
right.
reflection. It's interesting. My throat's starting to get itchy now that I'm speaking about myself.
Yeah,
I do now. I do want you, if you have a horse or a rat or any animal in your chart this month, maybe to journal, take notes in your calendar somewhere how this month is for you. Because next year is the year of the horse. It's a different kind of horse. It's not a young water horse, it's a different kind. But the unpredictability and all the fire that the horse brings is very dominant next year.
yeah,
So take note of that. If you're a horse and you're, overly restless and patient, how are you going to channel that energy creatively, right?
yeah.
What fires are you burning? What other animals are standing out to you?
Um, well, I usually look, I mean, not in a negative, but I always usually look forward to June as a month because it's an ally with my dog in my chart. And so since I've been dealing with a lot of health stuff, I'm hoping that this month is a little bit more, gives me a little bit of a
Mm,
boost
I
instead
love
of
that.
smacking me down.
Me too. Me
That's
too.
that's the only other animal that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
June's coming. Okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Tiger and dog are allies of the
Mhm.
horse, and the three
Yeah.
hunters really work well together.
Hmm.
So this can attract, wherever that animal is in your chart, it can attract some good energy to
Yeah.
you. But if you want to get into the other animals, Jeremy puts out a newsletter. I put out a monthly newsletter. The links are below. So if you're not getting those and you want to know more about these animals and stuff, and like a bigger description of this energy, sign up so that you're getting this information in your email. So, do you want to add anything else, or are you ready to pull a card?
Yeah, I can pull a card. I just encourage anyone if you've got a horse in your chart or you are wondering how the snake is interacting with your chart this year, or
Hmm.
how the horse is going to influence you over the month of June, reach out to us. Reach out to us. Yes, I'm in bed, but I can still do readings from bed.
Yeah,
So
he's really getting
s-
good at it.
sign up, sign up for a reading. And you know, that's what these charts are for, is they help us to understand ourselves. Um,
Mm.
this card, you just can't make this shit up. So this card is the winds of change, and there's a zebra or a horse there. A change in the wind.
And
So,
wind is
um,
wood.
yeah. So again, allowing our creativity to take over. So the thing that just comes to mind is, oh my God, the 80s were the best time for music. I don't care what anyone says, but the 80s were the best time. And
Okay,
the
but
band
here's the thing. You have a different take. I love 80s music, but it's a
right.
different kind of music.
Oh, it's totally different, right? But in my eyes, metal rock bands in the 80s,
Yeah.
like the hair bands were the best, right?
Hmm.
So the Scorpions, and I heard this song this morning, and I don't know why,
Mm,
but
the
it
winds
just
of change.
affects me every single time. The Winds of Change by the Scorpions. So if you've never heard, if you're a millennial or younger and you've never heard the song The Winds of Change, listen to this song. This is what this month is going to be about. It's going to be about change and going with the flow, going with the winds of change, and
Yeah.
allowing the flow of the universe to change the things that we need changed.
Yeah, maybe that's our anthem song for the month.
Yeah, I love
That's
that
so
idea.
cool. That's a great. Yeah, I've seen Scorpions a couple times in
You saw
concert.
them in concert?
Oh yeah.
I'm
I
so
was
jealous. I was too young, so I couldn't go.
oh yeah, I grew up with the big hair and
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You did grow up with a good hair.
yeah.
Again, you have a horse in your chart, and so you're mean.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good to connect with you like this and laugh and be ourselves and forget, our health issues and
Yeah,
whatever's happening outside our houses and that. So, if you're listening this far into this, connect with people who make you laugh, who are
yeah,
creative, who aren't going to just sit and vent and bitch and blame and be negative all the time. Find people who really, I went to lunch the other day again with my dear friend. We wore tiaras. It was the funnest lunch. I'm not one for attention. You wouldn't think that because I'm a horse, but we had women coming up saying, "Oh, are you princesses?" And so we're just bantering back and forth. And then this lady came up and said, "Oh, is it somebody's birthday?" And she came over and got her daughter on the phone, and we all sang happy birthday to her. And then some other people came up, and then we were sitting talking about manifesting. My friend was sharing a story about a book that she's reading that they give prompts every day, like challenges. Like one day is look for a sunset orange car when you're out and around town, right? It makes you be really present. It makes you looking for the little things like that. And then she said, today I've been going around and giving people $5 bills. And she said, I slid some the in between drinks in the grocery store. And I said, did you put a $5 bill on that lady's tray? Because I had saw it when I come in. And she said, yeah. And she was talking about this book said you have to give in order to receive. So I'm just giving money out. $1, $5, not a big deal, right? As much as she'd love to give thousands out. And as we were talking, the two of the workers came over and gave us each a free dessert. And on the
oh,
dessert, it said, good things happen.
oh,
So it was just such a magical day because we were wearing our tiaras, talking magical things, and inviting other people into that magic. It was just so fun. So be creative and don't be afraid to, create those loving spaces. We need them. So I
yeah,
thank you for being a part of that.
yeah. Thank you too.
Take care, everyone. You know where to find
Bye.
us. Bye bye.